Praise be to Jesus. Hi again, everyone. Charles here. Well, I guess we're going to get a lot of stories from the Bishops' Conference meeting here. So, as I was thinking about what I just posted about the Vatican telling the assembly not to take a vote on, any kind of document. I started thinking about this, and what all of a sudden struck me was that the Vatican probably doesn't have control of the wording of any document that would come out of this assembly, and they desperately need to have control of the wording as they did in the Synod, where a group of people handpicked by the Vatican actually wrote the document before it was even, for it to be voted on. And then there was all that confusing about, people don't understand Italian and all that. But apparently, this is my guess, in this particular case, they don't have control over the wording in a document that would come out of this assembly. So I think that could be behind what's going on. It's just a guess on my part, but I think it's a credible guess. Now, whether it's right or not, I don't know. That's just what's occurred to me. I'm going to throw in another piece of news. There's some people are gathering in Washington, D.C. to demonstrate outside of the Nuncio's house, or his residence, or maybe not his residence, his office or something, saying they want Cardinal Burke for an archbishop in Washington. So hopefully a lot of people will show up there. Well, so we have the next story coming out of the Fall Assembly, General Assembly of the Bishops. So here we go. Bishops in the United States need to work hard to regain the trust of their flocks and combat a culture of clericalism. Archbishop Christophe Pierre, Apostolic Nuncio to the United States, told those present at the USCCB's Fall General Assembly in Baltimore, Maryland. Yada, yada, yada. After acknowledging that the past year has been challenging and sobering, Pierre spoke sternly to his brother bishops and told them that they need to accept their responsibility as spiritual fathers of their diocese. Act responsibly, be honest. Well, that's what I think anyway. Let's see here. Well, the church is always in need of renewal. Pierre said that this task will be impossible without rebuilding the trust of their community. And they plan on doing this with words, I guess, It is a task that demands time, effort, sacrifice, and reform on the part of the bishop. The only way of reforming the church is to suffer for her, he said. And this reform needs to come from the mission of the church. In creating reform, bishops must show that they are capable of solving problems that are placed before them, rather than simply delegating them to others. There's no recognition here at all, about, we need to come to the bottom line here, which is to talk to our brother bishops who have lied and covered up sexual abuse on their watch, and have them come forward and issue an apology to all Catholics in the world, and they need to be punished in one way or another. But there's nothing like that coming out of here, It's just, it's just the same old line, just using different words here. Let me go ahead and just take a minute here and look through this a little more. Bishops, he said, have a special responsibility to strengthen the faith of others. And these guys who have so little faith, And are so self-absorbed and self-concerned about their positions. If they really had faith in Christ, they'd come forward and say, I lied, I covered up, I'm sorry, I'll take my punishment. That's what I think anyway. The people of God have rightly challenged us to be trustworthy, he said. Pope Francis never ceases to tell us that if we are to begin again, then we should begin again from Jesus Christ, who enlightens our lives and helps us to prove that we can be trustworthy. And this coming from the Pope's mouth. Boy, I'm telling you. This is from mainstream media, but, there are quotation marks here. So, I really don't care to read any more of this, It's just, it just gets me excited, and, I should really try to keep control of my emotions here when I'm doing this as best as I can. Well, I think that's all I'm going to read there. One other point here I can throw in is Cardinal Zen, retired bishop or Cardinal of Hong Kong. He went to the Vatican a couple of weeks ago, apparently. This is just coming out now. And handed the Pope a 7-page letter on what's going on in China. And, he had a lot to say. In the end, his analysis was that, the Pope doesn't really understand, what's going on, and he's just being manipulated by, like Cardinal Pietro Parolin and maybe some others. And, it's very well known that the Pope knows a lot about communism and had communist sympathies earlier in his life. Maybe in his 20s is what I remember. Maybe into his 30s. So I don't know. I guess, Cardinal Zen doesn't want to, he's willing to say, speak his mind to a point, but then, he's not going to, it doesn't seem like he's, although he's spoken some pretty harsh words. He's retired anyway, so, what are they going to do with him? Tell him he can't talk or he can't travel or whatever, geez, boy, you talk about the dictator Pope. Boy, this is really something. And it's just day after day, we're just going to keep on seeing more and more of this. Okay, well, that's enough for right now. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.